allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, tonight is July 15th, 2019. Can I have a roll call?
Missouri. Here. Hazel.
Here.
Whaling. Capuros. Meyer.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
We have the minutes from the June 24th meeting. Were there any changes? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made to approve. Second?
Second.
Is there a second? Any questions? Roll call.
Missouri. Yes. Hazel.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Anyone, clerk's report?
Total tax income received since June 24th is $159,841.67. That includes a small grant from the Department of Justice for bulletproof vests in the amount of $982.75. And then some of the real estate taxes are still coming in. And that's all.
Anyone from the audience wish to address the board? If not, we have the commissions. Matt, anything for the beautification?
No, they're done planting and everything's been purchased, so they're done for the year.
4th of July Commission, Trustee Meyer.
Still had a little bit of a hard time this year. It was a 4-day fest. There's quite a bit of heat and humidity, but so far preliminary numbers, they took in a little over 86,000 in 4 days. That was compared to 94,000 last year in 5 days, but the 4 days this year beat the 4 best days last year, so still decent for a 4-day fest. And the final numbers won't be in for another couple of months.
Thank you. Youth Commission, Trustee Missouri.
We did the kid and pet parade since we've been in meeting, and it was really successful. We had a lot of kids and adults come out this year, so that was pretty exciting. We normally meet the 3rd Wednesday of every month here at the Village Hall at 7:30 p.m. This Wednesday we will not have a meeting, so that will resume in August. That's all I have.
Thank you. Historic Preservation Commission, there is no report. Finance and Administration, and before we begin, if you notice on the agenda, there are co-chairs. The co-chairs should have been eliminated. Bob didn't eliminate them and I didn't catch it, so in actuality, there's only the chairs that should be listed there, which would be Trustee Basil. You may proceed.
Hello. Donna, Treasurer's Report.
The month-end total for June for the village accounts, $2,857,910.25. The total for the commission accounts was $183,092.15. Total of all accounts together, $3,041,002.40. Month-end total for general for June, $787,517.84. You can see at the bottom of your report the June interest rate received from First Community, just a hair over 2%. Total interest earned in June, $4,911.17, and the fiscal year to date, $9,853.01. The commission non-AP payments for the month of June, $258,841.55. That's the end of my report, if there are no questions.
Any questions for Donna or myself? If not, I'd like to make a motion approving the Treasurer's Report for the financial activity for the prior month.
Motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Any questions? Roll call.
Kraus.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Hazel.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Variance reports for the preceding month are enclosed for your review. And the bills for the prior month. We had 2 additions, that's it. Core and Main for $9,900, and GTSAC, that was the police computer repair, $90. The rest everyone should have had. Any questions on the bills? If not, I'd like to make a motion approving the bills for the prior month for $228,373.90.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second, any questions? Roll call.
Missouri?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
All right, new investment policy resolution. I'd like to table that until our next, our August meeting.
That's fine, thank you.
And that ends my report.
Public buildings and properties, parks and recreation, trustee Willig isn't here. Matt, do you have an update on the 533 Reed Street?
We're about 95% complete, we just have to finish the fence on the exterior, and I'm hoping to move in the first week of August.
Okay, now the meeting's gonna take longer, because Bob's here.
I said lock the door.
Thank you. Roll. Anything else, Ben? Nothing else? You notice the fence is going up, huh?
Yep.
Good. Planning, building, and zoning, trustee Missouri.
Okay, we are still waiting on CMAP to sign off on the comprehensive plan. It's just been delayed as we await the approval, and the deadline project has been extended to October. That's all I have.
Thank you. Public safety committee, trustee Kraus.
Thank you. Consider an ordinance adopting state law changes to the sale and possession of tobacco products, basically just updating our ordinance to comply with the state law, which is now 21 years of age to purchase tobacco, and then the other changes were the vaping. Okay. Is that basically the crux of it?
That's it.
Okay, that's it. The number?
1311.
So I'm make a motion to adopt the ordinance adopting state law changes to the sale and possession of tobacco products.
Ordinance number 1311, is there a motion on the floor? There is, and is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Consider an intergovernmental agreement with Will County for animal control services. We still plan to use Dr. McKay as in the past, but there are some instances where field work is necessary for the containment and relocation of wild animals that the vet does not perform and our officers are not trained or equipped to handle. This agreement will take care of these cases, and it is on a per call basis. Since this would occur only about twice a year, does that mean that's how many calls we have?
It's pretty low.
Okay.
I got a question. So this is only for out in the country, like, you know, when there is a skunk or a raccoon, it isn't for, is this for the dogs that are out in the country, if somebody
Tony-
calls them?
Tony
Just
in
in
town.
town, gotcha. So if one of these gets in town.
Only
it's-
wild animals in town.
Okay.
If it's still a dog, we'll take it to doc and follow the standards.
Gotcha,
That way people don't chase the Joliet and get their dog.
okay.
Did we clarify whether or not we have to call or not?
Yes, in
We
the,
had one, yeah.
in the agreement in here, it says they will not come out without a case number, and they can only get a case number from us.
Good,
So
thank
if
you.
a resident tries to call them, they'll be directed to call, or according to this, they'll be directed to call the PD, and then they can only get called up by the PD.
Great, thanks.
So I'd make a motion to sign the intergovernmental agreement with Will County for animal control services.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions?
I will just add, just for it's a 3-year agreement.
Thank you. Roll call.
Missouri?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes. No full-time list is being created for the police department. Our current list has only one name left on it. There is a current ad in the Blue Line. Testing will take place August 18th at the fire station for the written and the physical, and then commission will conduct its interviews and then rank the candidates for a final list. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Public Works Committee again for trustee Kaporis. We have an update on the wastewater treatment plant between Bob or Matt.
What the big hang up right now is getting the liquid sludge hauled out of there. It's kind of holding up the project. Now that it's drying out, and there's a lot of fields available, we should be able to get that sludge moved out of here pretty soon. The project's about 70% complete. A lot of equipment is installed but not yet online. And we'll start phasing in the online process. We're hoping we make the October deadline to get the project done.
Good, thank you. Water main project, Matt, I think you basically can speak on that.
Yeah, I met with trustee Capuros and we've decided to move forward with Route 1 water main replacement in certain areas. There's a lot of areas in town where new water main was placed on the east side and not on the west side, so we're just gonna do crossovers and eliminate some of that old stuff that we're having problems with and, you know, abandon that old stuff that's really causing us some issues up there. That is gonna put Gould Street behind a little bit, but that's, we're waiting on the state for the funding on that, I believe, Bob, right?
Yes.
So,
The funding for Gould Street, the governor just signed the bill June 29th, so we haven't seen the paperwork from DCO yet, but that project will be funded by that money.
right.
So we're using the money that we set aside for Gould Street now to do this project. But the chairman wanted a vote of the committee of the whole to approve picking that route, because now we're under this new committee, the whole structure that everybody's on the committee. And pick that as the option, and he also wanted 2 engineering bids for design, is that correct?
Right, Robinson and Baxter, yep.
Yeah. So we would be looking tonight for a motion of the board to approve that as a committee of the whole.
Just for a motion for it to go out to bid, correct?
Yes, to pick this project, yes, because
Yeah,
we'll be.
for design and for,
Yeah, and we'll solicit these 2 firms, and then once we get the proposals, then we'll go brought back to this committee of the whole.
Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion. So what, to solicit the bid from Robinson and Baxter and Woodman for, replace several sections of Main on Dixie Highway.
Water main replacement, correct. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
Curb and sidewalk repair?
curbs have been completed by Perino and sidewalks were started today on the west side of town, so hopefully by the end of the week or early next week, should have both projects complete.
Road patching?
Work is paving, told me that they'd be in here the 2nd to 3rd week of July, so I'm just waiting to hear from them on the timeline, so it should be any time now.
And lead service line project?
Meeting with Robinson Engineering tomorrow for our first on-site look at spot houses that Donna made appointments for. We're looking at 20 of them just to up and down each individual street within a section of old part of town. So that's the beginning phase of it. So we still got a long ways to go before we pull the trigger on anything, but we're starting.
And would someone like to make a motion authorizing payment in the amount of $401,759.50 to IHC upon receipt of the IEPA loan funds? It's a progress payment number 8 to the wastewater treatment project.
So moved.
So motion made, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions? Roll call.
Missouri,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
And we're also, someone like to make the motion authorizing payment in the amount of $38,026.17 to Beecher for construction management services related to Beecher wastewater treatment project upon receipt of the IEPA loans.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made and second, any questions? Roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Missouri,
Yes.
That's it, everybody? Okay, I got Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee Lance.
Update for Sesquicentennial, we signed the contract for the laser show for August 3rd of 2020. And that is for August 3rd of 2020. I've heard people in town talking about that they've heard that we're doing a laser light show for the 4th of July, which is not the case. 4th of July will continue the same as it always has been. The village will have to provide a 45-foot lift for the screen, which we're working on. The next thing to plan is the street dance for Gould Street on Saturday, July 25th, 2020, and to decide if we're gonna have a community church picnic that Sunday, August 4th from noon to 3, and what activities to plan for that event. That's all I've got to report.
It should be August 1st and August 2nd.
Oh, we got the
Is
dates
it-
wrong.
Yep.
That might be where
I
we
hope
get
the
some
contract
misnomers.
doesn't say the 3rd.
Yeah,
I probably looked at the wrong year.
Yeah,
It's
that's
probably
this,
this
that's
year.
this year's
Yeah.
dates.
Okay, and under my report, Good Now Road, what I'm hearing is the end of August. They keep taking a step forward, and now they're taking a step back with a power line, a gas line, the wing.
The wing wall does
Wing wall
not meet the
doesn't line
Denver
up.
Bridge.
The weather isn't helping, so bottom line is hopefully by the end of August, it could be open.
We'll have a sewer plant done before the bridge gets done.
The ad hoc committee to negotiate requests for the TIF incentives. Basically, Bob and I are talking, and we do have a request where someone has written a letter, requesting to sit down and to negotiate money from the TIF district, and we felt that there should be a committee developed, or a ad hoc committee developed, so that they would sit down and talk to them along with Bob and I. My opinion is, and I would ask for a motion to approve this, is it should be Marcy Meyer, Chairman of Economic Development, and John Kaporis, who was also on the TIF district with Marcy. They would be the ones that sit down and talk with these individuals in the event. And like I said, we do have one request that wanted to meet within 10 days, which is the reason why I'm bringing it up.
It still has to come to this board.
It still has to all come here. It's just that they have to sit down and talk to somebody. If they talk to Bob and I, we would still have to talk to somebody else, so at least they're talking to the TIF district members, who then would present it to the entire committee of the whole as a board, so we know what's going on.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. Isn't that what the TIF board's for?
No.
So what's, I guess I'm not understanding what
TIF,
you're.
the Joint TIF Review Board meets annually to review the use of the TIF funds to determine if they were appropriate use and provide overall policy guidance. When it comes to actual incentives to specific projects, that's with the village board.
We would have to approve it.
So do we have to approve, I mean, is this gonna be just for this instance? Is this something we need to approve for, like, a determined amount of time, like a year, like a committee appointment or something?
Well, the appointments usually last every year. So in other words, next year I would have to redo it again. So like in the case of what we're discussing, which will come up eventually, that every year. Unless, the way I understand it, if I never bring it up again, they stand. If I bring it up, then we have to finish it.
That's correct. It's like an ad hoc committee, if you look in the ordinance. He's creating an ad hoc committee, which is a standing committee until they don't have a purpose or the people change.
Yeah, it just, cause I mean, if this is gonna be for like a year term, it's not, I mean, if you're having two people do it this time, two people do it next time, you want some continuity in that. You don't want one person come to the committee and getting this answer, and another person comes to a different committee and gets a different answer.
Are you suggesting it should be somebody different every year, or should we say?
No, I'm saying if you're gonna do it for, I just want to make sure it wasn't like just for this certain request, and then the next request was gonna get a different committee,
No,
the next request.
The ad hoc committee would stand until we say otherwise for whatever reason. And I emphasize one thing, is they have one trustee ask me about it. We're all stepping into new grounds, so if we come into something down the road, which we didn't think of, then we'll address it then. But the intent is to appoint the ad hoc committee. These two individuals are part of the TIF board, which then eventually they would be able to explain our
Explain to
work
them what
that we've done over the year to the TIF board. So the intent is not to change it, no.
Everything will still come to the board, you said?
Yep.
So even if the committee says, yes, we'll give you funds for project A, it's still gonna come to the board for
They
approval.
could say no, or it could go the opposite. They could say no, and you could say yes.
Do they have to bring everything to us?
Yes.
It's a use of funds, you gotta,
No, I just meant like, it can't die in a committee is what I'm saying.
no.
No, that's sort of one of the reasons why they're sort of trying to go this route with this committee of the whole, is there's been comments in the past that no one person should be able to die something. There should be some discussion, and that's what I'm trying to encourage down the road.
I agree.
Would someone like to make that motion supporting that ad hoc committee?
So moved.
So motion made, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, any questions? Roll call.
Missouri?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Any old business to come before the board? I believe this would be considered under old business, again, doing something new. It was an oversight on my part, which happens to be, we developed a police hiring committee. I don't remember what the exact resolution said. That has to be reappointed every year. It's not on the agenda tonight, so on the next meeting that we have, it'll be on the agenda to reappoint that committee, which is trustee Whaling, trustee Kraus, and Joe Terry to that committee. We'll continue as that. And again, it's just an oversight, because it was something new. Any new business to come before the board?
I think I mentioned the Meyer meeting.
are in the process of meeting with one or more property owners in town of buildings that are in dire need of repair. We're trying to make progress. We did meet with one individual business owner, building owner, which has been going on since 2007, and we've now given a deadline to see some progress on some things that we identified. At this particular point in time, we'll just not mention any names. It's just if you know of buildings that we need to address, just let us know. We'll go on from there. I have one thing on the new business.
Can I just ask a question about
Sure.
these buildings? This is just to rectify whatever condition it's in, this isn't just strictly demolition
No,
or?
that would have to come before the board,
Okay.
unless they agree to do it themselves. My understanding is if the progress is if you want to condemn and demolish, it would have to come before the board, you would have to approve it, and then you would have to pay for it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not our only focus of this?
Okay, no, we find, the one building that we've talked to already, we find some historic value to it, and we're not rushing, we're trying to get, repair, sell something rather than knock it down.
We've been very patient.
Yes. So
Over the last,
we're trying to work on it. I think we've made, there's a difference of opinion now, where before they, whatever, so we're working on it. Okay, 2 years ago, we bought laptops. Okay, some of you are using them, some of you are not. We are at a point where one of them is out of warranty and is out of repair, and I can't fix it. I have to send it in. For the price for me to send it in, we might as well buy a new laptop. But if we're not gonna use our laptops, and Bob's gonna continue to kill a tree, which he did tonight, then there's no sense of buying laptops. If you want to buy laptops, then we will, but so I'll replace the one that we're missing right now, which happens to be trustee Kapoor's. Some discussion to that effect.
I would be happy to donate him mine.
We-
I like having the packet available electronically. I love that because I do go home and read it on, where I couldn't before, I'm hauling paper around. But I do like to see the paper. Here it was actually, I just brought this because I took notes on it at home. So I kind of like, it's hard to flip through it at the board meeting, but it's wonderful to be able to read the packet.
so the problem is, when you want to go to look at backup material, you lose your place.
Going through here, it's hard to do it on a screen. It's a lot easier to do it on paper.
Anybody else?
Well, if I look at it at home, I'm gonna look on my computer instead of this.
Okay.
We know I'm a paper girl. I like my notes, handwritten
It's in my house
notes.
somewhere, do you want it? I mean, and it didn't even have Word on it, I tried doing something.
And the
with it, I didn't realize
finance,
it didn't
the
have Word, and
finance stuff is better on the hard
Yeah, it's
copy
hard to
for me.
Alright.
remember that, but this one's, I can do it.
Do not mind me.
It
If
was a
it
great
was something
experiment.
where you guys all wanted to use them and we were going forward, that's what we were gonna do, of course, I would use mine, but if I have the option, I like my paper.
In speaking with Jeanette, it is our belief that if you would like to turn them in, we'd be more than happy to accept them, and we will repurpose them. Because like, for instance, if you haven't noticed, there's one that actually, I believe, was assigned to you. It's sitting on the counter for the credit card machine.
Yeah.
So we will find another purpose for them, and I don't think there'll be a problem with that. So,
I know
Probably
Public Works
use that at
uses
the drive-through now too.
No, I'll turn mine back in.
And Public
we
Works
did-
is going full GIS.
just for you Apple users, okay, we did research a little bit today on price, because today and tomorrow is Amazon Prime Day.
Oh, yeah.
We thought maybe we could get something quick, or easy and cheap. You had product limitations as far as how many you could get. Apple was not really that much cheaper. Chromebooks were.
Chromebooks were very.
Could get a Chromebook relatively cheap, probably even cheaper if I would've sent that one in for repair. But if you prefer not to do that, just tell us now, let's turn the computers in, so then Bob can continue to kill the tree.
But we're saving police officer time, because we're not delivering the packets like we used to years ago either. On Fridays, we used to have to do that.
Okay, consensus, yes, that's the way you wanna do it?
I'm good with no computer.
I don't need one, and I can bring this if I have to.
Okay, and then if in fact, since John and Scott is in here, if in fact they would like one, then they can keep theirs, or we can repurpose one to John or
If
something
you
like
want
that.
to, if you want to use your computer and not get a paper packet, just tell me, I won't make it. But right now I'm guessing, are you gonna bring in your computer, or you're not, so I had to make copies, because last thing I was, the trustee show up, where's my packet? Oh, I didn't make it.
This was unusual. I usually use a paper packet when I get here, but I read it on here when you send it electronically.
Good job, guys.
Okay, I think we
Just
can.
with an email on Friday, right, and
Yeah.
then have paper packets
We
available.
will still email on Friday, unlike myself, the packets will be ready here for you to pick up over the weekend on Friday, right?
electronically on Friday. Yes, I would have them probably duplicated on Friday, but I'm not delivering them or putting them in your box. You'll get them at the table, because you already got it electronically on Friday. If you wanna come in and get your packet while we're open, that we can do. But if I put them in your box, I'm gonna forget to put them at your table.
Yeah, I'm fine with getting it at the table.
Because you got it on
I mean,
Friday.
I read it on here and.
Okay, that's the only thing I'm concerned about, if we wait till you get, as long as you read it on some computer prior to the meeting, so you're prepared for the meeting, I gotta look at
Yeah, that's what I always do.
Todd once in a while comes in and gets his early. He's done that.
Okay, anything else coming before the board? Entertained a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
Questions, roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Basil,
Yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Bill's got paid.